Bad day at the office?
Yeah, they deserve to win. So sometimes you got to hold your hand up and admit that. They're a good side. They're hard to play against. They've had a lot of good results recently. Two strikers up the top, mobile, quick, willing. Just pose a threat right throughout the game. And obviously they're very organised, very experienced. It's not an easy place to come. So we knew it was going to be a tough game. Probably from our side, just disappointed that we didn't show enough composure and quality, especially in the first half, to just try and implement the things that we'd looked at coming into this game, the ways that we felt we could cause them problems with the personnel we have. We didn't work those situations anywhere near enough. Came out second half, scored early, and we were looking like we were getting stronger, and then we give away the ball in their half. They play a ball up the inside of Tom, they cut inside, and then we obviously dangle a leg, give away a penalty, and that second goal's killed it because it's just swung the advantage right back to them. They're able to manage the speed of the game, tempo of the game, which obviously was a lot slower than what we wanted it to be. Third goal's, a really poor goal, but we're stretched and we're trying to, we're trying to score, we're trying to push, and you leave them more space, and they capitalised on it. So no complaints with the result. Obviously disappointed with our performance, and obviously losing games. We're never happy to do that. But coming into today, we've lost 1 in 10. That was away at Scunthorpe, and I'm not going to stand here and batter the players either because we're having a good season. It's a bad result, it's a bad day, but we've got another game Tuesday which we've got to try and win.
As you said to someone just a few moments ago, there is a long way to go yet.
Of course there is, yeah. Long way. A lot of games, a lot of points. Every game's tough. We've had a good season so far, 27, 28 games, and we're up there with some really big clubs. But long way to go. Regardless of what the result would have been today, we've still got a lot of work to do to keep on improving, which we push to do every day. As I said earlier, we have been in good form. You're going to lose games at this level because the division's so competitive and every opponent is really difficult to play against. But what we've got to do now is as we did when we lost against Scunthorpe, we've got to try and win the next game. That's Tuesday, and we've got to go there and try and bounce back.
2 penalties in the game. Great save from Paul Jones,
Yeah.
The first one. Any complaints against those penalties? Because you're probably seeing it a bit closer, but it just looked like contact in the football match.
Yeah, but I think the way the game's going, it's soft. The game is soft. So no, I'd have to watch them both back, but I thought they probably were both penalties, given how the game is these days. If you touch somebody, they can go over and you get things. But then equally saying that, I thought we should have had a penalty as well. Josh Coulson back post, just after they had their penalty. Yeah. It's a ball up to the back post. He's going up for a header. He's got a cross his man, and the lad's clever. He just pushes him when he's in flight. Anywhere else on the pitch, that's a foul. But we didn't get it. So, yeah, long-winded way of answering your question, but it's all right.
Can we go to personnel? First, Paul, great save.
Yep.
Why did you change your keeper?
Because I just felt that it was an opportunity to get a game into Paul. He knows a lot of their players, like Gash, Fryatt, who were a massive threat off set plays, and the last 3 games, all their corners they've been congregating bodies around the back post like Arsenal do, and then charging across the 6-yard box, and they're an handful. So we just felt that maybe Jonah's experience and extra bit of physicality could have been important, but then sod's law, they go and run a different corner for the first one, work a short, catches out, our organisation isn't good enough, and they obviously score. Pat Boyce has played more games than we probably envisaged he would do, and he's been outstanding. But today I felt that was the right thing to do. Obviously, he saves the penalty, brilliant save, but they changed the taker. You know, the penalties he've had so far this season, Gaias, he's took them, and his first two he's gone keeper's right. He missed the second one, and then his last penalty he went keeper's left and scored it. So prior to the game, we spoke to Jonah about those penalties, and it was a bit of a toss of a coin, really. Would he go to Jonah's left, the way he scored his last penalty, or would he go to his preferred side, bottom right? And you know, more often than not, Jonah makes the right decision which way to go, and obviously he took the second one and he went his favoured side, and Jonah went left, and that wrapped the game up for him. So, well, he put him back in front, should I say. So, yeah.
Do you have a decision to make over your goalkeepers for Tuesday?
I've always got decisions to make.
Okay. Have you made a decision about your goalkeeper for Tuesday?
No, because I'm still trying to get over us losing today.
The other personnel issue is obviously you've got two strikers missing, you've got two two defenders missing.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you're not going to use that as a mitigation, but that's four very big players out of your team today.
Of course it is, four really big players, but you know, Johnny Margetts has missed a lot of games this season, as has Gold, and you know, we're obviously still in a good position in the league. So it's not my style to make excuses, and that was one of the things that I said to the players at half time. You know, a lot of balls were when we were having to go long, particularly off goal kicks. You know, we know that when we're playing with Craney up there, playing slightly off the side, and Hamami, we know that it's going to favour Gash and Fryer. You know, we know that. But then I'm looking at my midfield players to land on second balls, and we didn't do that anywhere near enough in the first half. You know, it's not in my nature to make excuses, because that it gives ready-made excuses then to your players, and you know, I know that obviously we've got some big players missing, particularly at the top end of the pitch, but you know, my job's to find solutions and try and get the results with the players that we have available. You know, we worked hard Thursday, Friday on ways that we felt we could maybe hurt them down this side with Craney up against Fryer, and we just didn't work the ball. We didn't show enough composure to work the ball into them scenarios anywhere near enough in the first half. And then ironically, you know, our goal comes from getting numbers and overloading them on that side. Amami cross and Keane's finishing back post. So that's my frustration. You know, we don't just make it up. We always have a method and you know, a reason behind every decision and choice that we make. You know, I trust the players to go and implement it and execute it. And, you know, I don't think we did that anywhere near enough, particularly in the first half. But I'm certainly not going to stand here and make excuses because we've got, you know, four big players missing. We've still, the players we've put on the pitch today and the lads who've come off the bench are still more than capable of winning games of football at this level, as we've showed all season. You know, we have been looking to bring players in. We've inquired about a few. We've missed out on a few. But I'm not just going to go rushing in and bringing, you know, Dross in, because that put us in a relegation fight last year when we got our recruitment wrong. So, you know, obviously there'll be probably frustration today from our magnificent support that we had. You know, maybe with how we set up, or you know, lack of maybe movement of incomings at the top end of the pitch. But it's not through a lack of effort, but it's more through a more calculated, methodical approach to making sure that we get our recruitment right. And if we can do something, we will. We'll have Johnny and Gold back in training next week, which is a real positive for us. And as I said before, we've just got to try and win on Tuesday.
Will either of them be available for Tuesday?
Gold, no. Johnny, potentially.
Okay. And what about Freddie and Kyle?
They'll both be out for... Freddie will be probably 2 to 3 weeks, providing there's no setbacks. Hence why we acted and brought Finn in, who I thought had a really good game today. And Macca's probably a week longer than that.
Was his hamstring, wasn't it?
Yeah.
What about Freddie? What's his
calf? Yeah, calf.
So you've got somebody in as cover for a month, but you've worked with him before, and like you say, he looked quite composed there, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's
in the circumstances.
Yeah, he's not had a lot of football at Rochdale, so it might take us. I think he'd be better for having another game. He played on Tuesday night, so that was good that he came into today with decent minutes under his belt. He's obviously done 90 there today. So I'm sure that once he's got 2 or 3 games under his belt, and he only came in the building on Friday, and then thrown into a real difficult game today. So I thought he handled it, well. But he's a very good player. I've worked with him before at Curzon. He's athletic. He's got good pace. He's technically very competent, and he's a good lad. So I'm sure that he'll do well.
Anything imminent? You said you've put a lot of talks on that. Is there anything you think might come in or close? Should we say?
Maybe.
I'll leave it at that.
The new lad, you said he's got a lot of potential. He has still played 11 games for Rochdale this season, so there is something about him, isn't there?
Yeah, of course there is. I mean, in my opinion, if he gets in the right environment, right club, and gets minutes on the pitch, and has that willingness to keep on improving as a player, I think he's a Football League fullback. That's my opinion. I've worked with him before. I've watched him play loads of times, but he's got to believe that, and he needs to play. Obviously, he's Rochdale's player. We've brought him in. We'll see how he does for us, and hopefully he'll do well.
Half time, were there a few harsh words said by you as a player?
Absolutely, there was. Yeah.
Because you looked different sides that second half and got the goal back.
Yeah, I can deal with losing the odd game of football because it's part and parcel of the game. But what hurts me more is when I don't see a true reflection of what I know my team can be like. When we're energetic and when we play with tempo and we try and be aggressive and we try and get on the front foot, then I think we are one of the best teams in the league. And I think we're difficult for people to deal. We are a difficult team for teams to deal with at times. When we allow the game to be slow and when we get sucked into a lethargic way of playing, it doesn't suit us. And the first half, that's exactly what we were. We were lethargic. We didn't. I don't think we landed on anywhere near enough second balls. I thought we were sloppy and wasteful with our in possession play, whether it be inability to take a touch and make a pass, whether it be quality when putting it into certain areas of the pitch, whether it be execution of set plays, how we were from throw-ins. We were just off it, and obviously when you go behind in games at this level, the opposition have the advantage because they can manage the speed of the game and generally they slow it down, and then you've got to try and find ways of injecting that tempo and pace into the game, which we needed to do. We did do that at the start of the second half. As I say, scored a really good goal, and I felt we were growing into it. We were trying to play quicker. We were landing on more second balls, but then the second goals just killed us because it enabled the game to go flat again, and they slowed it down. I don't think the referee did anywhere near enough to manage the flow of the game. But that's not the first time I've stood here and said that. I knew a few seasons ago they brought a law into the game about the keeper being able to hold the ball for 6 seconds. I don't know whether it's my understanding that law is still part of the game, but it's certainly not being applied by any of the officials. Because I'm watching goalkeepers hold onto the ball for 8, 9, 10, 11 seconds, and referees hiding 50 yards up the pitch and scared to go and get the game going, and it's frustrating. Listen, if we're ahead in a game, then I'd expect my keeper to do the same as well. So it's not a criticism of Peterborough Sports or Peter Crook at all. It's a direct comment to the referees and probably the league and the FA that if that law's not applicable anymore, then remove it and give everybody a bit of clarity. But if it is, then pull your fingers out and implement it.
You mentioned the penalty shout in the first half you could have for Josh Colton, which looked a certain penalty to both of us. You had a shout for one in the second half of the handball as well.
Yeah, there was so many bodies in the way with the one in the second half that I couldn't stand here and say that I thought it was a penalty because I knew it was travelling towards a goal and it hit a part of somebody's body, but whether it was a hand or not, I don't know. As I said earlier, I think the one in the first half, anywhere else on the pitch, it's a foul. So why it's not a foul in the penalty area is just beyond me. You know, if it's a foul anywhere else on the pitch, then it should be a foul if it's in the box. And I think you see that a lot, and it's not right. You know, there's no. I don't think there's anything that, you know, if the contact's more or less in the box, that it's viewed any differently to if it's outside the box. You know, if it's a push when somebody's in flight, it's a foul. It should be a penalty. But you know, these things just sometimes don't go your way.